Hi guys, this is Steven here, and I've been really fascinated with color for a while now. How we as humans perceive color, and how basically in reality color doesn't really exist. Color is merely a way for your brain to classify certain radio frequencies. So if you have a radio frequency of a certain range, your brain is just like, oh, from here to here, I'm just gonna make that red. This frequency, that's red. And there's another one here, starts here, it ends there. I'm just gonna make that green. It just simply labels it green. But actually it's just a number. It just starts as a number and ends a number. And then the last one is obviously blue. Starts here, it ends there. I'll make that blue. And it's very much like sound. Obviously in sound you get a high frequency and you get a low frequency, which is just a frequency. But if it comes to light or to radio frequency or to the electromagnetic spectrum, your brain suddenly decides, no, this is not a frequency, I'll just assign a color to it. It's simply the way we see the world. Now obviously for our brain to be able to detect these frequencies, that's where our eyes comes in. Now in our eyes there are three different types of what they call cones in your eye. Obviously there's millions of them, but there's three different types. There's another one that's a rod, but that's mostly used to just detect the strength of light. It's not really to detect color and only gets used in dark environments. Now the three different types of cones is first of all the cone that detects the frequency roughly at about 430 terahertz. The second type of cone detects a frequency at 570 terahertz. And the last one detects a frequency of roughly 720 terahertz. So obviously that's where your red, green and blue comes in. So RGB, also used in photography and camera sensors. So these colors, obviously that's the way your brain or your eyes detect certain frequencies. And obviously if you get a frequency at 530, your brain tunes, that is red. And it will only trigger the red cone. The blue and the green tone will be dead. They will detect nothing. Now, this is where the interesting part comes in, and that is the in-between colors. Now the in-between colors is yellow and light blue, or yellow and cyan. They are exactly between red and green is your yellow, and exactly between green and blue is your cyan. Now, there's two versions of them. There's a real yellow and there's a fake yellow. Now the real yellow is a single light coming in at a frequency of 530 terahertz. So it's one light, one frequency coming in at 530 terahertz. Now, what actually happens when that light comes in is it slightly triggers your red cone. It triggers that one a little bit. It also triggers your green cone. So what happens then is your brain's like, I got a red and a green, but the blue cone was not triggered at all, so that must be yellow. So your brain tunes, that's yellow. But now what happens is that you can actually fool your brain by not sending one frequency of 530, but you can send two frequencies. One of 430 and another one at 570. So you don't have one light, you've got two lights. There's no yellow, there's only green and blue. But your brain's actually fooled because it triggers, it's exactly the same scenario. It triggers the green and the red cone. It doesn't trigger the blue. So your brain thinks again, hey, that must be yellow. So that way you actually get a true yellow and you get a fake yellow. The same goes for light blue. You get a true light blue, which is 640 terahertz. Then you get a fake light blue, which is 570 terahertz, and then obviously two lights. One is 570 terahertz and another one is 720 terahertz. So if both those hit your eyes, it activates your green cone and your blue cone, and your brain obviously figures out that is light blue. But it's not real light blue, it's a fake color. The last one is exceptionally interesting, and that is the color magenta, or also known as pink. Pink doesn't have a true version. There's no real color magenta. Magenta is there's only a fake version of magenta out there. And that is the mixture between red and blue. The color doesn't exist. It's purely a fictional color made up by your mind. And then the last thought I want to leave you with is that of hormones and color. Now, obviously, your women in the world have higher estrogen levels and lower testosterone levels. And these hormones actually makes us more sensitive to colors. So that's why women are much better at matching colors than men are, because they have higher levels of estrogen. Now, some women have such high estrogen levels, especially when they were in the womb, that their eyes actually developed 4 cones. So they don't just have 3 RGB, they've got 4, and the 4th one sits here in the orange range. So they actually have a little bit more color definition than the rest of us. But this is only roughly 2 to 3% of women. Now, men, on the other hand, obviously has higher testosterone levels and lower estrogen levels. They've got the opposite problem. So a lot of men, up to, I think they reckon about 30% of men, are colorblind. And the reason they're colorblind is purely because they don't have 3 cones. They have 2 cones or 1 cone. And obviously, these can be arranged in different places, different frequencies. So they either have a red and a green cone, but no blue cone, or a blue and a green cone, but no red cone, or a blue and a red cone, but no green cone. So that's the different type of colorblind people that you actually get. And most colorblind people in this world are men. So that's your interesting color lesson for today. If you fancy my videos, then like it. If you want to see more, then subscribe it. Until next time, ciao.